Spring 1944. The skies over occupied Europe thrum with the relentless drone of heavy bombers, a mechanical heartbeat pounding against the gray dawn. Far below, the patchwork of French fields and German forests lies shrouded in mist, hiding the scars of war. Craters from bombs that missed, hedgerows scarred by tank tracks, villages huddled under blackout. High above Normandy, formations of B-17 flying fortresses and B-24 Liberators plow through the cold upper air, their aluminum skins glinting dully in the weak sunlight. Each plane carries a payload of death, 4,000-pound blockbusters, incendiaries, fragmentation bombs destined for factories, rail yards, oil refineries deep in the Reich. Flak rises to greet them. Black puffs of smoke bloom like deadly flowers, the sharp crack-crack-crack of 88mm guns echoing across the channel. Tracer rounds streak upward in glowing arcs, orange fingers groping for the bellies of the heavies. One B-17 takes a direct hit, its wing shears off in a fireball, debris raining down like confetti from hell. Crewmen tumble out, parachutes blooming white against the smoke, only to be met by Luftwaffe fighters swarming from the clouds below. Messerschmitt Bf-109s and Focke-Wulf FW-190s burst through the formation, cannons winking fire. A fortress shudders under the onslaught, its 50-caliber turrets chattering in futile reply. Engines cough black smoke, the plane peels away, trailing flame. But today, the Americans fight back differently. P-51 Mustangs and P-47 Thunderbolts, sleek predators with shark-mouth noses, break from escort formation. No longer mere guardians, they dive into the fray, wings flashing as they unleash streams of tracer fire. One Mustang rolls inverted, lining up a Bf-109 in its sights. The German fighter twists desperately, but the American guns blaze, burp, 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 ripping through the Messerschmitt's fuselage. Fuel tanks rupture, the plane erupts in a mid-air pyre, spiraling earthward in a corkscrew of flame and smoke. The pilot bails out, his canopy shattering like glass, silk parachute unfurling too late to save him from the updraft's fury. Another FW-190 climbs for altitude, but a P-47 intercepts, its 850 cals turning the German into a sieve. Wreckage plummets, carving a smoking furrow through a wheat field. The sky clears, just a fraction. The Luftwaffe breaks off, vanishing into the undercast. For the bomber crews, it's a reprieve, but not victory. The Germans will return from hidden airfields scattered across Denmark, Holland, the fatherland itself. The war in the air grinds on, a brutal attritional slog where every sortie claims lives on both sides. 8th Air Force Headquarters, High Wycombe, England. A Georgian manor house on the outskirts of London, its red brick facade camouflaged under layers of netting and paint. The April air is chill and damp, carrying the scent of wet earth and distant sea. Inside the Eichen's room, the atmosphere is thicker. Cigarette haze curls toward the low ceiling, mingling with the bitter aroma of overbrewed tea and machine oil from maps marked by greasy fingers. Wall charts track losses, red pins for downed bombers, blue for fighters, a grim tally climbing daily. A long oak table dominates the space, littered with ashtrays overflowing with butts, tin mugs of coffee gone cold, and reconnaissance photos showing Luftwaffe bases. Rows of parked fighters under camouflage netting, fuel trucks huddled in revetments, mechanics swarming like ants. Officers in khaki and olive drab cluster around, bomber generals with clipped mustaches and furrowed brows, fighter colonels with flight scars and restless energy. The room buzzes with low voices, the scratch of pencils on paper, the occasional cough from lungs seasoned by too many smokes. At the head stands a silver-haired man with a sailor's squint and a bomber's resolve, the commander who once led a daring raid on Tokyo. He taps a pointer on the central map, where red arrows mark recent sweeps over Germany. We've turned the corner, gentlemen. Our fighters are sweeping the Luftwaffe from the skies, claiming dozens a day. But they're still launching, still inflicting losses we can't sustain. Dispersal helps them, but it also spreads them thin. We need to end it. Not just fight them in the air, destroy them where they sleep. On the ground, before they can taxi. Murmurs ripple through the room. Some nod, envisioning high-altitude bombs on airfields. Others exchange glances, skeptical of diverting assets from the strategic campaign. The door swings open with a creak, admitting a figure who commands silence without a word. Broad-shouldered, face etched by wind and worry, uniform rumpled as if slept in, which it was. a cigar clamped between his teeth, unlit, casting shadows on a jaw set like granite. This is the man they whisper about in mess halls. Balloon observer from the Great War. Stunt pilot who earned the nickname Mad Major for looping biplanes through hellish winds. Fighter commander who leads from the cockpit, not the desk. He doesn't salute or waste breath on pleasantries. Striding to the map, he jabs a thick finger at clusters of Luftwaffe bases. Oldenburg in the north, Akmer near the Dutch border, Fürth in Bavaria, a web of death stretching 500 miles. We've been protecting our bombers long enough. It's time to kill theirs. The room freezes. Coffee cups hover mid-sip. A bomber general with wire-rimmed glasses leans forward, face draining of color. What the hell does that mean? Our P-47s and P-51s are escorts, optimized for high-altitude dogfights. You want them strafing flak traps at low level? Dive-bombing hangars ringed with 88s and machine gun pits? The mad general doesn't flinch. He unclips a leather folder from his belt, slaps it open on the table. Inside, hand-sketched diagrams, weather charts, fuel calculations. Operation Hammerstorm stares up at them in bold ink, routes snaking low through valleys to evade radar, timing pegged to dawn haze and dusk shadows, bomb loads tailored for parked aircraft. Not strafing, hunting. Low-level raids, treetop height 50 to 100 feet. Dawn and dusk when their alertness is low, patrols thin. P-47 Thunderbolts carry the hammer. 2,500 pounds of bombs under those massive wings, 8 50 cals to rake survivors. We dive through the clouds, release on hangars, fuel dumps, parked birds, then circle and strafe the runways, scatter the ground crews. Mustangs provide top cover, shred anything that lifts off. We go rogue, no more glued to bomber streams. We own the airfields. The eruption is immediate. Voices overlap in a cacophony of protest. That's suicide. Flak at that altitude is a wall of steel. Your boys will be flying into a meat grinder. The P-47's a tank in the air, but even it can't shrug off point-blank 37mm. Losses will be catastrophic. Schaeff will crucify us. Eisenhower needs those fighters for D-Day cover, not this lunacy. The room quiets as the silver-haired commander raises a hand, his eyes locking on the proposer. Respect wars with caution in his gaze. Bill, that's reckless, even for you. We've bled enough pilots to high-altitude intercepts. Low down? The Germans have layered defenses, radar-guided batteries, fighter strips in every cow pasture. Your Thunderbolts might hammer a few, but the cost. Then they'll die killing the Luftwaffe. Gasps suck the air from the room. A fist slams the table, rattling mugs. You're talking about throwing away our air superiority. Good men? Aces with dozens of kills for a gamble on mud and flak? The mad general's voice drops to a rasp, carrying the weight of ghosts. I've watched our forts and libs burn from the cockpit, Haywood. Kids with wives back home, shooting into enemy farms, beaten, starved in stillags. Escorted enough raids to know the math. Luftwaffe is down to 30% strength, fuel rationed to drips, pilots half-trained teenagers. But they still rise from those fields, bite our formations. Defense bleeds us dry. Offense ends it. We make their pilots fear taxiing out. Every airfield a graveyard, every mechanic ducking shadows. He traces the plan's routes with a stubby finger. Ingress over the North Sea, low through fog banks, pop up over targets like ghosts. Egress via rivers and valleys, bombs jettisoned for speed. Contingencies for weather, abort signals, medevac. P-47's durability is key. Radial engine shrugs off hits that kill liquid-cooled Mustangs. Drop tanks for range, rockets if we can mount them. Train for pop-up attacks, climb from cover, dive, egress fast. Weather boys say spring fronts give us cloud layers for approach. A logistics officer clears his throat, peering at supply projections. And if it fails? Courts-martial. Courts-martial, Bill. Your stars and hours on the block. Court-martial me after. But this wins the air war before D-Day. The silver-haired commander studies the maps, fingers drumming. Minutes stretch like hours. Outside, rain patters against leaded windows, wind rattling blackout curtains. The room holds its collective breath, the scent of tension thick as cordite. Finally, decision. Approved. On my authority and yours. Train 'em hard. Start with feints, prove the concept. Losses mount, we pull plug. But if it works, scattered cheers from fightermen, grim nods from bombers. The mad general rolls up his plans, but his mind races ahead to the mud-churned airstrips of East Anglia, where P-47s will practice death dives over English farms. A fighter base in Essex, dawn breaking over dew-slick runways. P-47 Thunderbolts hulk on hard stands, ground crews in sheepskin jackets swarming with wrenches and dope cans. The air smells of high-octane fuel, hot oil, and wet grass. Engines cough to life, cough, cough, roar, prop wash bending tent flaps, scattering tools. In a Nissan hut briefing room, a wolfish colonel with a handlebar mustache paces before rows of pilots. Young faces hardened by combat, flight suits zipped, helmets under arms. Maps on easels show simulated runs over the wash. Kepner's handing us the Reich on a platter, boys. No more high-altitude chess. We're going low, hedge-hopping through flak, bombs hot on Luftwaffe nests. First dry runs today, 50 feet over the fens, pop up on mock targets. Who's ready to make history? Hands shoot up, whoops echoing off corrugated walls. But one captain, lean and hard-eyed with kills painted on his Mustang's nose, leans against a beam, arms crossed. Sounds like a one-way ticket hub. Flak at treetop, we're buzzard bait, or eagles. The jug's built for it, takes 20mm hits, and flies home. You in? Count me. I fly through hell and by the next round, laughter cuts the tension. Outside, the first P-47 thunders down the runway, lifting off into the mist, practice for the madness to come. Across the channel, a concrete bunker beneath Berlin's streets. Dim bulbs cast long shadows on walls damp with condensation. The air reeks of stale tobacco, schnapps, and desperation. Officers in gray uniforms huddle around a situation map. Luftwaffe eagles on collars dulled by wear. A scarred general with a monocle and perpetual squint, cigar ash dusting his tunic, pores over intercept reports. Around him, veterans, blonde aces with iron crosses, young lieutenants with hollow cheeks. Americans grow bolder. Sweeps claim 20 yesterday over Hanover, but our fields are dispersed. Camouflage, decoys, revetments, fuel guarded in underground tanks. They can't touch us on the ground. A top ace, boyish face belying 300 victories, shifts uneasily. They're changing her, General. Recon says low-level probes, P-47 skimming clouds, testing defenses. Not escorts anymore. The general waves it off, arrogance a shield, American chaos. Our discipline endures. Jets come online. Me-262s will sweep them from the skies. Prepare dispersal plans. The Reich fights on, but doubt lingers in the ace's eyes, a crack in the facade. Back to high Wycombe, nightfall. Rain lashes the manor, thunder rumbling like distant flak. The mad general stands alone on the balcony, water soaking his shoulders, cigar finally lit, cherry glow illuminating haunted eyes. Flashback floods his mind. August 1943, over Regensburg. He's strapped into a P-47, escorting the Schweinfurt raid. Flak walls the sky. A B-17 ahead erupts, wing gone, fuselage crumpling. Turret gunners wave desperately before flames consume them. A Bf-109 flashes past, cannon stitching the formation. He chases, throttle to the stops, guns blazing, but the fortress spins down, a comet of fire, crew lost to the earth. The vow hardens, no more. He grinds out the cigar in the rain, turns inside. The war machine grinds on, but he's rewriting the rules. He wasn't trying to survive the war, he was trying to end it. East Anglia, England, mid-April 1944. Dawn creeps over the flatlands like a reluctant witness, painting the fens in hues of gray and gold. Mist clings to the earth, thick as pea soup, carrying the earthy scent of damp peat and decaying rushes. At a sprawling fighter base, codenamed Debden, P-47 Thunderbolts line the perimeter track, their bulbous fuselages dripping condensation, radial engines cold and silent for now. Ground crews in oil-stained coveralls swarm the beasts, mechanics torquing prop hubs, armorers loading 500-pound practice bombs under wings, fuelers topping off tanks with 100-octane avgas that reeks of ethyl alcohol and promise. The air hums with urgency. Hammers ring on metal, radios crackle with pre-flight checks, and somewhere a jeep backfires like distant gunfire. This is no routine escort training. Under the Mad General's orders, the fighter groups, 56th, 78th, 353rd, and the Mustang-equipped 4th, have shifted to something darker. Rehearsal for ground attack hell. Pilots emerge from Quonset huts, flight suits zipped against the chill, helmets tucked under arms, faces a mix of bravado and buried fear. Coffee sloshes in tin mugs, cigarettes burned down to filters. In the 56th Group's dispersal tent, canvas walls flapping in the breeze, a wolfish colonel with a handlebar mustache unrolls a topographic map over a folding table. Chalk dust hangs in the air, mingling with the tang of unwashed wool and machine grease. 24 pilots crowd in, Eagles on leather jackets, kill tallies faded from rain, eyes sharp, but whispers betrayed doubt. Listen up, Hammerstorm's no paper plan. We're training for the Reich's front yard, low and dirty, 50 feet off the deck. Approach in finger four, use terrain masking, rivers, valleys, hedgerows to dodge radar. Pop up at 1,000 yards, dive at 30 degrees, bombs away at 300 feet. Pull out hard, strafe the deck on the zoom climb. Egress fast, weave to shake flak. A lanky lieutenant, fresh from stateside flight school, shifts uneasily, his Mae West life vest chafing. Sir, that's suicide prep. Flak at that height? 88s'll swat us like flies. And the jug's not a typhoon, those wings catch every wire and steeple. The colonel leans in, mustache twitching with a grin that's half feral, half reassuring. The P-47's your armor, kid. Radial engine out front takes the hits, seen him fly home with cylinders shot away. 850 cals chew concrete, bombs for hangars, rockets if we jury rig 'em. Practice today. Over the wash, mock airfield at Holbeach. Old barrage, balloons for flak sims, smoke pots for targets. Fly it till your balls ache. Chuckles ripple, but tension lingers. Outside, the first engine coughs to life. Prat, 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 roar. Prop wash bending tent flaps, scattering maps. Pilots file out, climbing wing ladders with the grace of men walking to gallows. The skies above the Norfolk fens. 4 P-47s thunder low, skimming golden reeds at 300 miles per hour. The lead pilot, hard-eyed ace with ice in his veins, banks left, following a drainage ditch that mirrors the plane's shadow. Wind howls through the cockpit. The altimeter spins wildly. 80 feet, 60, 40. Earth rushes up, mud flats, startled hairs bolting, the metallic tang of adrenaline flooding his mouth. Flight? This is lead. Terrain mask good. Radar blind. Call the pop. 2. Visual on target. Smoke pots lit. Hangars marked. They climb sharply. 500, 800 feet. Engines bellowing protest. Dive commences. Nose down, world tilting, bomb sight framing the mock revetments. Oomph, oomph. Practice bombs tumble free, bursting in yellow chalk clouds on the simulated runway. Pull out at 200 feet, wings groaning under G-loads. The ace rolls out, thumbing the gun trigger, burp. Tracers chewing dirt, shredding parked Luftwaffe props made of wood and canvas. But chaos intrudes. A gust shears across the wash. The wingman clips a dike, crunch. Undercarriage snags mud, flipping the jug into a cartwheeling wreck. Flames erupt, black smoke billowing. The flight aborts, circling as crash trucks race across the marsh. Mayday, mayday, Blue 2 down. Egressing. Back at base, debrief is grim. The colonel paces, wreckage photos pinned to the board. Lesson 1. Wind kills. Mother Nature's the first enemy. Tomorrow, tighter formations, mutual cover fire. The young lieutenant stares at the twisted aluminum, bile rising. One crash in practice? Over Germany, that's a squadron. The colonel claps his shoulder, voice steel. Or the Luftwaffe's end. Kepner didn't stutter, adapt or die. Bomber command briefing, same day, High Wycombe. The ops room reeks of skepticism. Cigar stubs ground into carpets. Maps of deep penetration raids overshadowing fighter sketches. Bomber generals, faces lined from Schweinfurt's ghosts, huddle over coffee urns. News of the fighter training filters in via teletype. Low-level crashes, near misses with church steeples. A paunchy brigadier with a bomber command patch slams a report down. Kepner's boys are buzzing English farms like dive bombers. Yesterday, a P-47 sheared a windmill off near Cambridge, farmers pitching a fit to Parliament. This Hammerstorm madness will get him killed before D-Day. His counterpart, a chain-smoking major general, nods, exhaling blue haze. Fighters off escort? Our forts will be sitting ducks. Luftwaffe's weak but not dead. Galland's hoarding aces for the invasion. We need top cover, not airfield joyrides. Whispers spread, mutiny brews. A staff officer drafts a cable to Schaeff. Request halt to unauthorized fighter diversion. But doubt gnaws. Doolittle's signed off. The Mad General's shadow looms. Across the hall, in a side office, the Mad General pores over recon photos. Luftwaffe dispersal fields, fighters under netting, fuel bowsers camouflaged in woods. His aide enters, face ashen. Sir, bomber mafia's howling. Losses in training already at 3 birds, 1 fatal. The Mad General doesn't look up, pencil tracing attack vectors. Expected. Pain now saves blood later. Tell Zemke, double the sims, add night familiarization. Luftwaffe sleeps, we don't. The aide hesitates. Pilots are murmuring, sir, calling it Kepner's suicide pact. A rare smile cracks the granite. Good. Fear keeps them sharp. By week's end, they'll crave the Reich. Mechanics Bay, Debden. Twilight. The vast hangar echoes with the clang of tools, acrid weld sparks dancing like fireflies. Ground crews, grease monkeys with frozen fingers, welders in leather aprons, hunch over a P-47's belly, riveting bomb shackles. The air stinks of molten metal, hydraulic fluid, and unvented exhaust. These invisible warriors, the backbone of air power, work by lantern light, faces smudged black. A grizzled crew chief, hands like bear paws, wipes sweat from his brow. Boss wants him carrying 2 500-pounders plus rockets? Jugs weren't built for this circus. His young assistant, a farm boy from Iowa, hefts a rocket rail. Heard the brass call it reckless. But if it ends the war... My brother's in a B-17. Escorts save lives. The chief grunts, torquing a bolt. Reckless gets pilots killed. We're patching birds that come home Swiss cheese. Low level? Flak'll turn 'em to confetti. But resolve hardens. They test-fire a jury-rigged rocket pod. Whoosh, flame jetting 50 yards, scorching a test barrel. Cheers erupt. The invisible army adapts. Pilots bill at midnight. Rain drums on corrugated roofs, wind whistling through cracks. A circle of fighters huddles around a potbelly stove. Cards scattered, whiskey flask passing. Faces gaunt from 500 call-ups, eyes hollow from mock dives that blur real and nightmare. The ace captain deals a hand, voice low. First real runs Friday, Oldenburg. Treetops to target, 200 miles in. Weather boys say broken clouds. A wingman bandaged from a prop scrape, shutters, flak towers there, seen the intel. 88s zeroed on the deck. One burst and we're vapor. The ace sips, eyes distant. Kepner's mad, but he's right. Luftwaffe's fuel's at 20%. Hit the pumps, they ground forever. We fly low, we live. High up, they pick us off. Doubt circles. One pilot stares at a creased photo. Girl back home, smile frozen. Rotor tonight. Training hard. Home soon. If we buy it... Silence falls, broken by thunder. They know, belief is fragile. Advanced training, 3 days later, over the Pennines. 16 P-47s in loose formation, hugging moorland contours, peaks shearing mist, sheep scattering below. Lead flight pops up over a mock airfield, derelict barns daubed with Luftwaffe markings. Dive, swoosh, bombs away, chalk plumes erupting. Strafe run, guns hammer, wreckage splinters. But realism bites. Simulated flak, artillery bursts, shrapnel pings off armor plate. One jug takes a hit, smoke grenades belch, pilot feigning damage, limping home. Radio crackles tension, red flight, bandits. Mustangs, top cover, now. Mustang pairs scream in from altitude, intercepting, imaginary BF-109s. Dogfight erupts, scissors, loops, guns hot on practice ammo. A Mustang claims a kill, rolling triumphant. Debrief at dusk, adrenaline crashes into exhaustion. The colonel tallies, 80% hits, 2 losses, progress. But tighten intervals, flak chases leaders. Tomorrow full mission profile, ingress strike egress under enemy fire. Pilots nod, but wariness shows. A veteran whispers to the ace, they're buying in, Don, but one bad hop. Then we make it the last. Bomber crew mess, same base. Heavies pilots, B-17 jocks with oxygen scars, eye fighters with disdain. Over spam and powdered eggs, griping flows. Kepner stealing our shields, heard they're ditching escorts for joyrides. Next raid will face Galland's wolves alone. A waist gunner, hands scarred from frozen guns, slams his tray. Fighters think they're gods. Low strafing? Germans'll light 'em up. Good riddance, more glory for us. But a navigator, poring over D-Day charts, frowns. If they crack the Luftwaffe's nest, skies clear for invasion. Risky, but skepticism holds, but cracks form. The Mad General's office, High Wycombe. Maps wallpaper the walls, teletype clattering updates. He paces, cigar smoldering, reviewing training reports, crashes down, accuracy up 40%. Aides buzz in. Zemke reports ready, sir. Blakeslee's Mustangs synced. First strike April 28th, weather permitting. He nods, but eyes distant, calculating lives. Remind him, no heroes. Survive to strike again. Night deepens. Pilots toss in bunks, dreaming of fire. Mechanics slave by floodlights. Across the channel, Luftwaffe patrols tighten, unaware. Training pushes limits. A P-47 buzzes a hangar at 20 feet. Prop tips kissing eaves, crowd gasps. Another clips a tree in fog, limps back minus wingtip. Losses mount, 2 pilots dead in mid-airs, but skill sharpens. Rockets fire true, formations weave like schools of fish, yet morale frays. A squadron vote, 70% eager, 30% terrified. Letters home multiply, training's brutal, but we're ending it soon. The line between courage and insanity had vanished. April 28, 1944. 0430 hours. East Anglia stirs under a leaden sky, the air raw with the bite of North Sea wind whipping across sodden runways. At Debden, floodlights cut the pre-dawn gloom, casting long shadows on P-47 Thunderbolts loaded for bear. 2 500-pound bombs nestled under each wing, belly tanks topped off, 8.50 caliber guns armed and hungry. Ground crews hustle in the chill, flashlights bobbing, voices hoarse over engine whine, checking tire pressure, sealing leaks, painting fresh invasion stripes on fuselages. The scent of avgas hangs heavy, mingling with the acrid bite of exhaust and the faint underlying rot of spring mud. In the darkened briefing hut, pilots strap on parachutes, faces pale under helmet shadows. Maps glow under red lamps. Target: Oldenburg airfield, 200 miles east, a Luftwaffe hive buzzing with FTU-190s. Ingress low over the Frisian Islands, terrain mask through coastal dunes, pop up at dawn's first light. Weather: broken clouds at 2,000 feet, winds 15 knots, marginal but go. A wolfish colonel with sweat-slicked brow pins the final overlay. Hammerstorm Alpha launches today. 12 jugs from us, 8 Mustangs top cover. Hit hangars, fuel Bowser Park, runway. No lingering, strafe and ghost. Abort if clouds seal or flank blinds. Questions? Silence, thick as fog. A young lieutenant grips his oxygen mask, knuckles white. Flak density intel's guesswork, sir. What if they scramble before bombs away? Then Mustangs eat 'em. We're the hammer, fast and final. Mount up. Engines thunder to life, cough roar bellows, a symphony of Pratt & Whitney's shaking the earth. Props bite air, taxiing in diamond formation, blue exhaust flames dancing. Takeoff. One by one, jugs lumber down the steel mat, rotation at 90 knots, climbing into the murk. Formation coalesces overhead, 16 strong, turning east toward the channel. Over the North Sea, 5:45. Altitude 50 feet, waves crest white below, salt spray flecking canopies. Lid flight hugs the swells, thump 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 as hulls slap water, ditching altimeters at 0. Radio silence, only position calls. Lead to flight, dunes visual. Masking good, Freya radar blind. 5 mics to IP, hearts pound. Cockpit vibrates, wind screams over leading edges. A wingman glances left, another jug mirrors, bomb shadows swaying. Fear coils, one glitch, and they're fish in a barrel. Coastal dunes rise, grassy hummocks, scattered pines. Flight snakes through, skimming moram grass at 280 miles per hour. German watchtowers loom, gunners rub sleep from eyes, too late to alert. Clouds thicken ahead, a gray veil promising cover or trap. IP passed. Climb to pop now. Flight surges upward, 400, 700 feet, bursting through stratus like knives. Target blooms, Oldenburg airfield, 4 miles off. Hangars squat in revetments, 24 FW-190s parked wingtip to wingtip under partial netting. Fuel trucks line the apron, mechanics kindle braziers against dawn chill. Bombs hot, dive, lead rolls in, nose down 30 degrees, world inverting. Flak wakes, crump crump, 88s barking from tree lines, black bursts stitching the sky. Shrapnel pings armor plate like hail. Bombs whistle free, oomph oomph, plunging into hangar row. Explosions chain, first blast rips doors, ignites fuel drums. Secondary fireballs engulf parked butchers, aluminum melting in 2,000-degree inferno. Splash hangars, pull out, strafe deck. Lead zooms low, guns blazing, raking runway, shattering a control tower. Sparks fly, a fuel Bowser erupts, orange plume boiling skyward. Wingmen follow, bombs crater tarmac, strafe scatters ground crews, figures diving for slit trenches, abandoned tool carts flipping. Chaos reigns. Luftwaffe fighters scramble, 6 FV-90s lurch from dispersals, props spinning frantically. But Mustangs pounce from clouds above, diving like falcons. Bandits. Mustang lead, tally 6, engaging. Dogfight erupts, Mustang cannons wink, shredding a 190's canopy mid-taxi. German burns on the runway, blocking others. Another lifts off, tires screeching, only to meet a P-51 head-on. Collision inevitable, Mustang jinks, guns stitching wings. Enemy spirals, pilot bailing into flames. But payback comes. Flak intensifies, predicted barrage from woods. A P-47 in trail takes direct hit. Right wing shreds, fuel ignites. Pilot fights controls, yellow 3 hit. Breaking off, jug cartwheels slamming earth and fireball. Ejection too late, no shoot. Flight aggresses, weaving through bursts, clouds swallowing them. All call signs, feet wet, RTB. Claims, 8 on ground, 2 air. High Wycombe, 900. Ops room electric, teletype chattering. Aides pinning recon pops. Mad general hunches over table, cigar clenched as first reports crackle in. Oldenburg hit hard, sir. Hangars gutted, 14 aircraft destroyed, 10 parked, 4 scrambling. Losses, 1 jug, pilot KIA. Mustangs clean. Relief flickers, but he probes. Flak? Scramble time? Heavy but late. 3 minutes to guns. Clouds helped. Ground crews panicked. No organized fire. Nods ripple. Bomber generals, arms crossed in corner, exchange glances, impressed despite themselves. 1 bird for 14? Math works. But sustainable? Mad General stubs cigar. First blood. Scale it. Tonight, Akmer. Debden noon. Hangar decks slick with hydraulic fluid from returning birds. Bullet holes patched hasty. Bombshells reloaded. Victorious pilots debrief under awning. Adrenaline crashing into exhaustion. Ace captain, flak soot streaking face, recounts to cluster. Dove through hell. Flak so thick, thought we'd black out. Bombs march perfect. Hangar chain reaction, like dominoes in gasoline. Strafe got the tower, watched Krauts bail, running like ants. Cheers, backslaps. But shadow falls. Yellow 3's locker cleared, personal effects bagged. Young lieutenant stares, voice hollow. He was right behind me. Flak got him clean, no chance. Was it worth it? Ace grips shoulder. 14 dead birds don't fly. That's 14 bombers we saved tomorrow. Word spreads, success. Skeptics thaw, bomber crews in mess nod respect. Letters home. First strike nailed 'em. War's turning. Luftwaffe HQ Oldenburg vicinity. Mid-morning. Airfield smolders. Acrid smoke veils wreckage. Twisted 190s, hangar skeletons, cratered runway. Fire crews douse flames with sand. Medics haul charred bodies. Air reeks of burnt rubber, cordite, avgas. Senior major face ashen surveys damage. Phones Berlin frantic. Americans struck at dawn. Low level, bombs and guns. 14 machines lost, runway hold in 5 places. Scramble impossible. They were gone before we fired proper. Static crackles, commander's voice icy. How? Radar? Alerts? Clouds massed approach, treetop ingress. Flak late, gunners asleep. It was butchery. Rage boils, tighten patrols. Disperse further. Woods, farms, no more nests. But doubt creeps. Mechanics whisper of ghosts in the mist. Berlin bunker afternoon. Scarred general with monocle. Cigar ash trembling slams report. Oldenburg gutted. 1 raid. Americans abandon escorts for this? Top ace, bandaged from recent sweep, leans forward. Jugs and Mustangs, Herr General. Low and fast, our radar useless. If they hit more... General scoffs, but eyes betray fear. Isolated probe. Jets ready soon, 262's untouchable. Counter with night fighters, bleed them dry. Ace nods but writes diary. Sky changes. They hunt us now. Second strike. Dusk. Akmer airfield near Dutch border. 16 P-47s ingress over polders. Windmills blurring past at 50 feet. Dikes throwing spray. Clouds lower, tension coils. Pop-up target sprawls, BF-109s in open storage, fuel dump camouflaged. Flak erupts premature boom-boom, barrage predicted from village steeple. Lead absorbs bursts, shrapnel craters canopy. Flak heavy press. Bombs away. Direct hits on dispersals. 109s erupt, chain fires leaping revetments. Strafe rakes mechanics, screams lost in gunfire. But losses mount, wingman clips barrage balloon cable, snags wing, cartwheels into woods. Another takes 37mm flak, engine seizes, pilot bails low, legs trailing smoke. Germans scramble 8, Mustangs pounce, claiming 4. Egress bloody, 2 more jugs hit, 1 limps home on 1 engine, belly smoking. Another ditches channel, dinghy spotted. Claims, 12 ground kills, 4 air. Losses, 2 shot down, 1 probable POW. High Wycombe midnight. Mad General paces war room, maps updated, red crosses on Oldenburg Akmer. Total, 26 German aircraft for 5 Americans. Aides buzz, Doolittle cables approval. But grim, telegrams to next of kin pile. Bomber general approaches, voice grudging, working. But pilots cracking, fatigue, fear. Third strike tomorrow? Firth, scale to 32 birds, add rockets, burn fuel dumps. Outside, rain lashes, thunder mimics flak. Pilot billet, 200. Ace captain can't sleep, tosses on cot, yellow 3's ghost whispering. Wingman enters, bloodshot eyes. Akmer was worse, flak like walking through bees. Lost Mikey low, saw his chute snag trees. Ace sits up, but we gutted him. Recon says runways unusable, Luftwaffe grounded, their days. Wingman nods, but voice breaks. Mikey had a girl, kid on way. This madness, necessary madness. 1 more push, sky's ours. Dawn breaks on third strike prep. Mechanics weld rocket rails, clang spark. Loading H-FARs, jury rigged from Navy stocks. Pilots brief, Firth, deeper in Reich, heavier defenses. Launch, 32 fighters, waves staggered. Ingress over low countries, hedgerows, at treetops, church spires, shaving props. Flak starts early, 1 aborts engine fire pre-target. Industrial haze cloaks airfield, Ju-88s, trainers parked. Pop-up chaotic, clouds boiling. Bombs crater aprons, rockets streak whoosh, igniting ammo trailers in spectacular blasts. Guns rake hangars, 10 birds burn. Scramble fierce, dozen 109s airborne. Mustangs whirl, ace claims 2 but pays, P-51 wingman shot down, spiraling into Bavarian hills. Ground fire brutal, 88 zeroed, 3 jugs hit, 1 explodes mid-strafe, another limps west trailing oil. Egress, formation shreds, singles weaving home. Claims 22 ground, 6 air. Losses 4 fighters, 2 pilots KIA, 1 MIA. Debrief, dusk. Exhausted victors tally 3 strikes, 70 plus Luftwaffe destroyed, runways cratered across North Germany. But 10 American birds gone, 7 pilots lost. Morale teeters, cheers hollow, eyes haunted. Wolfish colonel addresses. They bled rivers. Intel confirms panic dispersals, fuel ration tighter. But we paid, brothers gone. Young lieutenant, survivor of Firth Flak stands. Worth it? Saw their faces, ground crews screaming, they fear us now. Nods, resolve hardens. Mad general arrives unannounced, clapping shoulders. First glimmers dawn. Tomorrow we blind them. Across channel, Luftwaffe reels. Göring rages in Carenhall. Americans dare our soil? Crush them, but fields burn. Pilots grounded. Galland cables. New war, ground defense priority. Americans taste blood. Losses scar, but math shifts. For every jug, 10 enemies denied sky. They called him crazy. He called it progress. May 1st, 1944. Dawn's bloody edge slices the horizon over East Anglia, turning the channel into molten lead. At multiple bases, Debden, Boxted, Raiden, P-47 Thunderbolts and P-51 Mustangs crouch on blast pens like predators scenting blood. Rocket rails gleam under wings, mixed with 500-pounders and napalm tanks jury-rigged from bomber stocks. Ground crews, faces blackened by exhaust soot, work frenzied in the half-light, arming fuses, topping tanks, slapping invasion stripes with brushes dipped in whitewash. The air throbs with urgency. Cranes whine lifting ordnance, jeeps slosh through mud delivering ammo crates, radios squawk weather updates, clearing skies over Germany, winds favoring egress. In a bustling ops tent at the 56th Group's field, the wolfish colonel briefs waves of pilots under a hissing pressure lantern. Maps sprawl across trestles marked with fresh red slashes. Oldenburg, Ockmer, Firth, successes confirmed by PRU Spitfires. Today's escalation, 64 fighters, 4-pronged hammer on Northern Reich, airfields at Wittmundhafen, Varelbusch, plus fuel depots at Delmenhorst and a convoy route along the Ems River. Hammerstorm's full throttle, boys. Jugs hit fixed targets. Hangars, pumps, railheads. Mustangs sweep for scramblers, then join the feast. New wrinkle, napalm on dispersal pans. Turn 'em to inferno. Ingress pairs or flights, 50 feet. Use dikes, forests. Flak will be primed now. Weave like snakes. Claims priority, anything that burns fuel or flies. A grizzled ace, flak scars puckering his cheek from Firth, leans forward, voice gravel. Intel says Kraut's dispersed, fake fields, woods. Miss, we waste bombs on decoys. Recon's gold, thermal shows real nests. And convoys, stray from dry. Questions? Young lieutenant from Oldenburg strike, eyes still shadowed by lost wingman. Raises hand. Fatigue's biting, sir. Back to back since Friday. 1 napalm burp and we're torches. Colonel's gaze hardens but nods. 2 days rest after today, if we live. This breaks their back. Mount up. Engines erupt. Roar, crackle, roar. A thunder herd shaking the earth. Takeoff staggered. First wave airborne at 450, climbing east into rose-streaked sky, contrails unwinding like battle banners. Over the Frisian coast, 0600. First flight, 8 P-47s, hugs tidal flats, salt spray stinging visors, lead calls ingress. Flight, dunes to starboard. Radar blackout push. Formation snakes through marshes, props churning mist, startling gulls into white panic. IP, Wittmundhafen Airfield, North Sea Edge, Luftwaffe Night Fighter Base, Ju-88s and He-219s parked under dunes. Pop-up, clouds part like curtains. Target sprawls, revetments dug into sand, 24 shadows under netting. Flak awakens ferocious. Crump, oomp. 88s from cliff batteries, tracers lacing dawn. Lead dives, napalm tumbling splat splat, gelled fireballs blooming across dispersals. Flames leap 100 feet, consuming parked owls and sticky holocaust. Pilots inside roast alive, silhouettes thrashing. Napalm away, good hits. Guns, guns, guns. Wingmen follow. Bombs crater bunkers. Rockets streak swoosh, puncturing fuel tanks and chain explosions. Strafe rakes mechanics sprinting for cover, mowing them into sand. 3 Ju-88s lurch skyward. Mustangs from top cover pounce, cannons turning them to confetti mid-climb. But hell repays. Flak barrage nails trailed jug, direct 88mm through cockpit. Plane disintegrates, debris peppering formation. Another wing clips dune wire, snags, cartwheels into surf, pilot bailing into breakers. Red 2 down. Egress. Flight goes south, claims 18 ground kills, 3 air. Egress weave dodges pursuit. 1 Mustang limps with oil smear. Simultaneous, second wave on Varelbush, inland moor. P-47's ingress over peat bogs. Treetops shearing fog, windmills spinning lazy. Target, fighter strip. FD-190s camouflaged in heather. Approach flawless, pop at 800 yards. Bombs first, hangars erupt, aluminum frames buckling like tin. Napalm follows, fire sea engulfs aprons, melting tires, fusing wings. Ground fire savage, machine nests from farmhouses, 20mm autocannons chattering. Lead takes hits, shrapnel perforates flaps but presses strafe silencing guns. Scramble, 10-190s airborne. Mustangs whirl, deflection shots, scissors claiming 5 but lose 2 in furball. Rockets ignite ammo dump, massive secondary, boom shaking earth miles away, fireball visible from Dutch coast. Losses, 1 jug flak-bagged, pilot chute spotted, 2 Mustangs down. Claims, 22 aircraft, fuel facilities wrecked. Third prom, Delmenhorst Fuel Depot, rail-served heart of Luftwaffe logistics. 12 jugs low over Elbe tributaries, barges scattering below. Flak light initially, surprise holds. Dive, bombs on tank farm, hump wump, piercing steel, avgas rivers igniting in 500-foot geysers. Napalm seals it, jellied horror spreading, incinerating railcars, engineers fleeing as flesh sloves. Rockets target pumps, explosions chain, depot vanishing in smoke pillar. Counterfire mounts, flak trains on sidings unleash. 1 P-47 shreds, wing gone, spinning into woods. Strafe claims 3 flak crews but egress hot, pursuing 1 or 9s from nearby field. Mustangs intercepting in running fight, 2 kills, 1 American lost. Claims, depot 90% destroyed, thousands of tons fuel denied, 5 air kills. Fourth wave, Ems River convoy hunt. Mustangs lead, jugs trail, roving wolves. Ingress over dikes, spotting truck column. Fuel Bowsers, ammo lorries snaking toward airfields. Ambush, dive from clouds, rockets and guns. Lead Mustang salvo, whoosh, trucks erupt, fireballs merging into convoy inferno. Jugs follow, 50 cals stitching cabs, bombs cratering road. Germans bail, machine gunning futile. Napalm turns escape routes to firewalls. Flak trucks return fire, tracers zip harmless. 1 jug hit, belly lands field, pilot evading into lines. Claims 30-plus vehicles, fuel cascade burning for hours. High Wycombe, 1,000 hours. War room frenzy, plotters shoving pins, teletype hammering. Mad general at map wall, cigar trail smoke like flak, as waves report in sequence. Wittmannhafen, 21 kills, depot flames visible from Heligoland. Varelbush, 27 total, secondary ammo cook-off. Delmenhorst, fuel farm gone, rail lines twisted. Convoys, 35 trucks, oil slick to Bremen. Aides calculate, 100-plus Luftwaffe assets denied, logistics crippled. Losses, 7 fighters, 4 pilots, KA, 2 POW. Doolittle enters, face grim but approving. Scale working, but bomber raids report increased intercepts south. Galland shifting reserves. Mad general nods, plotting next, central Germany tomorrow, they're bleeding logistics. Hit railheads, keep 'em thirsty. Bomber generals, once skeptics, now allies, nodding at kill ratios. Forts flew unmolested today. Your madness clears our path. Luftwaffe forward HQ near Bremen. Afternoon chaos, phones shrilling, orderlies dashing with singed reports. Senior major, uniform ash-streaked, briefs arriving commander amid map littered with burn holes. Coordinated dawn strikes, 4 sites. Wittmannhafen night fighters gone, Varelbush stripped. Delmenhorst fuel poof. Convoys ambushed, supplies ash. Commander, monocle askew, slams fist. How many? Over 120 machines plus ground support. Americans flew low, napalm everywhere. Our flak, late again, rage flares, disperse everything. Forests, pastures, no fields over 10 planes. Fuel by night drops only. But mechanics outside curse, pumps dry, birds grounded. One whispers, they hunt us like wolves. Skies theirs by day. Debden dusk, hangars reek of scorched rubber, welders sparking on perforated jugs. Victorious pilots sprawl on cots. Medics stitching flak wounds. Ace captain, arm bandaged, shares flask with wingmen around barrel fire. Flames reflecting haunted eyes. Varelbush was poetry. Napalm turned heather to hell. Watched 190s melt, pilots trapped. Cheers fade, young lieutenant recounts convoy kill. Trucks pop like corn, drivers jumping, clothes burning. Felt, merciless. Ace nods, voice low. Mercy loses wars. But Mikey'd be alive if not for this. Silence, guilt coils. Ground crew chief approaches, grease-black hands clutching rocket dud. Mods working 90% hits, but birds coming home shredded. One more week like this. Resolve steals. 1 more week ends it. Berlin, evening. Göring's ornate office at Hall, crystal decanters, tapestries, now command post. Reichsmarschall, bloated and furious, sweeps maps to floor. Americans burn our fields while we chase bombers? Incompetence. Galland, summoned, stands rigid. New doctrine, Herr Reichsmarschall. Their low attacks bypass radar. Flak must adapt. Mobile batteries, infantry screens. Göring bellows. Results: jets, Tu-62s operational soon, untouchable at 600 miles per hour. But fuel, strikes hit supplies. Göring waves dismissal but doubt gnaws. Intel shows American bases swelling ordnance. Counterstrike, all out tomorrow. Bleed them. Galland salutes out. Diary note, fuel crisis acute. American fire from Earth now. Night strikes begin. Moonlit raiders, silenced exhausts, hit secondary fields. Gütersloh, deep faults. P-47s glide in dark, bombs away on glow of braziers. Flak blind, claims mount unopposed. Dawn May 2nd, central push, Paderborn, Lippstadt airfields. Ingress over Ruhr haze, smokestacks blurring. Flak evolves, predicted barrages, but napalm overwhelms, hangars to slag, 30-plus kills. Convoys again, Autobahn columns strafed, fuel tankers exploding in daisy-chain fireballs. Losses light, 1 Mustang to 109 bouts. Escalation peaks May 3rd, 96 fighters, Bavaria fringe, Firth follow-up, plus Ingolstadt. Rockets burn test stands, bombs crater runways. Germans scramble fierce, 20 air kills, but ground toll 50-plus. Debriefs electric, total weak 400 German aircraft, depots smoldering, convoys paralyzed. American losses 25 birds, 15 pilots, grim but asymmetry crushes. Mad General briefs Doolittle. Luftwaffe can't refuel, can't concentrate. They're shadows, but cost mounts. Telegrams flood next of kin, pilots' hands shake on yokes. Across Reich, airfields empty. Planes hidden in barns, pilots walking fuel cans. Panic memos. American devils own the ground. The Luftwaffe bled on the ground before it ever took off. May 5, 1944. The Ruhr Valley dawn breaks under a pall of industrial smog, the air thick with the metallic tang of steel mills and the oily reek of smoldering fuel dumps. From East Anglia, the 8th's fighters roar eastward in unprecedented numbers. 128 aircraft in coordinated waves, P-47s laden with napalm and rockets, P-51 Mustangs sleek for high-speed intercepts. Bases like Leiston and Halesworth thrum with frenzy. Ground crews in the murk wrestle 1,000-pounders onto racks, welders' torches spitting arcs on perforated fuselages, jeeps skidding mud with ammo pallets. The relentless tempo of Hammerstorm has etched exhaustion into every face. Pilots with black-rimmed eyes, mechanics with hands raw from frozen tools, but momentum is a drug, and victory's scent drives them. In a wind-lashed ops tent at Boxted, the hard-eyed ace captain briefs his Mustang squadron, map overlays fluttering like battle flags. Targets, Lechfeld and Memmingen airfields in Bavaria, rumored Me-262 jet bases. Luftwaffe's last gamble, swept-wing wonders clocking 540 miles per hour. Galland's pulling aces, jets for high-altitude bounce on our low boys. Mustangs own the anvil, sweep at 30,000, pounce scramblers, jugs hammer ground, we keep the sky clean. New intel, Tu-62s vulnerable on takeoff, slow climb, weak underbelly, trap 'em on the deck. A wingman, fresh kill tally on his jacket, smirks through fatigue. Jets, will turn 'em to scrap before they spool. Captain's gaze sharpens, don't underestimate. 4 cannons, 30mm bite, stay fast, energy high, no turns. RTB fuel critical, D-Day cover waits. Engines bellow to life across the fields, roar thunder roar, a mechanical avalanche. Waves launch staggered, jugs low and dirty, Mustangs climbing for perch. Over the channel, formations split, predators unbound. Over central Germany, So-700. First wave, 32 P-47s, snakes through Thuringian forests, treetops a green blur at 50 feet. Ingress flawless, valleys mask radar, rivers guide like veins. IP for Lechfeld, pop up through morning haze. Target reveals, vast concrete expanse, concrete-hardened hangars, rows of Me-262s under blast walls, Schwalbes with jet pods gleaming, ground crews swarming with fuel hoses. Flak erupts volcanic, crump whoomp, mobile 88s on rails, quad 20mm nests chattering. Predicted barrages walk the sky, lead jug shreds, canopy vanishing in flash, pilot gone. Flak thick, press attack, napalm on revetments. Dive commences, napalm canisters tumble, splat, whoosh, jellied fireballs engulfing parked jets, wings melting, fuel igniting in blue-white infernos. Rockets follow, whoosh, whoosh, puncturing cockpits, chain explosions ripping hangars. Bombs crater runways, strafe Moe's technicians, screams swallowed by Burr. Luftwaffe reacts. 4 Me-262s taxi frantically, Jumo engines whining to life. One lifts, gear retracting slow when Mustangs from 25,000 feet scream down, diving at 500 miles per hour. Tally jets. 4. Runway, engaging. Mustang lead lines up deflection, impossible closing speed. 262's nose cannons spit 30mm, crack crack, missing wide. Mustang 50's hammer, tracers stitching jet's belly. Fuel tanks rupture, Schwalbe erupts mid-climb, cartwheeling into fireball. Second jet airborne, Mustang 2 scissors in, guns blazing, wings sheer, pilot bailing into flames below. But jets fight back. Third 262 climbs vertical, looping for altitude. Mustang pursues, energy bleeding in turn, but wingman intercepts, burst shredding tail. Fourth grounded, napalm roasted. Ground toll, 12 jets destroyed, hangars gutted. Air, 3 kills. Losses, 2 jugs flak-bagged, 1 Mustang grazed. Egress, feet wet. Claims confirmed. Simultaneous Memmingen strike, Alps foothills, P-47's ingress over Danube tributaries, vineyards flashing by, target. Another jet field, test Me-262s with radopods. Pop-up chaotic, low clouds boil, flak from mountain batteries arcs unpredictably. Bombs away first, runway craters block taxiways, napalm turns dispersals to sea of fire, 6 jets consumed, orange flames licking pines. Scramble desperate, 5 262s boost off with rockets, smoke trails streaking. Mustangs pounce from sun, high side dives, guns converging. Lead jet takes hits, port engine flames, veers into hillside boom. Second loops, Mustang energy trap, stall scissors, cannons rip fuselage. Third and fourth merge head-on, collision inevitable, both spiral smoking. Fifth escapes initial pass, climbing supersonic bursts. Mustang ace pursues, throttle to clips, closing at treetop on jet 6. Deflection shot, 50s rake wings, 262 yaws crashes woods. Claims, 14 ground, 5 air. Losses, 3 jugs, 1 Mustang deflect train ambush. High Wycombe 0900. War room a cyclone, pins sprouting like weeds on Bavaria overlay. Mad General tracks returns on greaseboard, cigar ash snowing maps. Lechfeld, 15 jets, production hangar afire. Memmingen, 19 total, runway unusable. Jets claimed 8 in air, first blood on Schwalbes. Doolittle, pouring recon, voice taut. Galland's gamble exposed, but losses climbing, 18 birds today. Pilots report jets fast. Mad General nods, plotting south, vulnerable on ground. Hit more tomorrow, Castle, Munich fringes. Mustangs refine jet tactics, boom and zoom only. Bomber liaison chimes, forts report 0 intercepts, skies clearing, your wolves own it. D-Day looks naked. Luftwaffe jet base, Lechfeld ruins. Mid-morning. Blackened craters steam, jet husks smolder, aluminum puddles hardening. Engineers in asbestos suits douse fires, medics triage burns, screams echoing off hills. Field commander face soot black, radios Berlin frantic. Americans new, targeted jets. Napalm everywhere, 12 machines lost, pilots incinerated. Runway hold, can't operate. Static, Galland's voice thunders. How? Intel leak, low approach, clouds terrain. Flak improved, but Mustangs, they waited, dove like eagles. 3 jets airborne, 2 shot down. Galland curses. Disperse survivors, underground hangars only. Rado for all launches. Counter, all-out conventional strike on their fields. But fuel clocks tick, depots ash from prior hammers. Berlin noon. Reichsmarschall's chancellery, marble halls scarred by bombs. Göring, sweating in dress whites, convenes crisis council. Galland strides in, monocle cracked from fist clench. Jets burning on runways. Americans predict us, Hammerstorm they call it. Low fighters gut our hearts. Göring bellows, jowls quivering. Counterattack. Launch everything, 109s, 190s, from France, hit their East Anglia nests before D-Day. Galland hesitates, map in hand. Fuel marginal strikes crippled supplies. Pilots green, losses unsustainable. Jets need protection, high-altitude escorts. Advisor interjects, young ace with bandaged arm. Mustangs match us now, long range, numbers, low game lost, fight high where jets shine. Göring slams gavel, do both. Operation Bodenplatte preview, mass launch dusk, bleed the wolves. Galland salutes but eyes doubt, desperation, not strategy. Dusk counterattack launches. From Dutch and French fields, 200-plus Luftwaffe fighters, 109s, 190s, handful jets, form up for channel crossing. Galland leads wing personally, engines droning west. Intel tips Americans, radar picks mass formation. Mad General scrambles 100 Mustangs, Blakeslee's 4th group spearhead. Bandit swarm, 200-plus, 20,000 feet, intercept vector 270. Clash over low countries, furball apocalyptic. Mustangs bounce from sun, shredding trailing 109s. Germans dive for bases, jets streak through, claiming two P-51s with 30mm fury. Ace captain in thick, loops Immelmann guns a 190 bursting. But chaos, wingman sheared by jet pass, spiraling flames. Eagle 2 down, jet, break east. Numbers tell, Americans claim 60, lose 22. Germans retreat bloodied, 80 left combat ineffective. Jets evade, but 2 flak down on return. Debden night, hangar deck lit by arc lamps, wrecked Mustangs trail smoke, medics hauling wounded. Ace captain, flak through canopy, debriefs wolfish colonel. They threw everything, jets mixed in, fast as hell. Got 3 conventional, 1 Schwalbe probable. But numbers, we held. Colonel nods, bandaging own arm. Galland's lash out, cost 'em dear. Recon says their field's empty tomorrow. Pilots around fire barrels share tales. Jet came out nowhere, 30mm like thunder. Fear tempers triumph. Galland's forward HQ midnight, maps bloodied with red crayon, losses scrawled. Top ace reports, voice hollow. 108 down, her general. Jets claimed 4 but exposed. Mustangs predict dives. Galland slumped, cigar dead. Fuel gone, pilots bled. Jets grounded, hide in caves. Americans own day skies. Ace whispers, end near, disperse or die. May 6th escalation, American follow-up on jet sanctuaries. Rhine, Hopston. P-47's napalm cave entrances. Mustangs strafe launch rails. Claims, 10 jets, 15 conventionals. German response, night harassment. U-88's bomb, English fields, minimal damage. May 7th, Munich area, Oberpfaffenhofen. Rockets ignite test stands. Napalm roasts prototypes. Jets scramble 3. Mustangs claim all in running chase. 1-2-62 exploding at 40,000 feet. Losses mount both sides, but asymmetry yawns. Americans lose 30 birds weak. Germans tune 50+ jets halved. Pilots' letters. Jets scream like banshees but burn easy. Skies ours. Mad general briefs, their wonder weapons grounded. Hammer falls unopposed. Luftwaffe memos desperate. Cease daylight ops. Preserve for invasion defense. Even their jets couldn't save them. May 10, 1944. East Anglia's skies weep relentless rain, turning runways to sucking quagmires that swallow jeep tires and bog down bomb carts. At bases from Halesworth to Wattisham, P-47s and P-51s huddle under dripping wings, tarps slapping in gusts, but the war machine grinds undeterred. Ground crews, mud-caked phantoms in yellow rain slicks, wade through slurry, welding flak patches by flashlight, reloading rocket pods slick with grease and water. The air reeks of wet canvas, rotting sandbags, and the ever-present bite of avgas seeping from overtaxed tanks. Exhaustion carves deep. Mechanics' eyes bloodshot from 18-hour shifts, pilots' faces gaunt, hands trembling from G-forces and ghosts. In a leaky Quonset hut at Debden, the wolfish colonel pores over crumpled recon photos by kerosene lamp. Luftwaffe fields reduced to ash pans. Lechfeld a blackened skeleton. Memmingen pocked with craters. Secondary strips in Hesse-Saxony stripped bare. Hammerstorm's toll. 800+ German aircraft in 10 days. Fuel webs severed. Runways more pothole than pavement. Today's targets. Massed finale on Central Belt. Bunstorf, Gießen, Eschwege. 96 fighters to leave nothing flyable. He briefs sodden pilots. Steam rising from flight suits. Last big push before D-Day stand-down. Jugs level everything. Napalm dispersals, bombs on any revetment with a shadow. Mustangs hunt stragglers, then rake. Krauts disperse to farms, woods, hit 'em all. Weather marginal, low ceilings, but radar says clear over targets. The hard-eyed ace captain, cheeks stitched from jet shrapnel, rubs stubble. Dispersed means needles in haystacks, sir. Miss, we burn barns and cows. Intel's thermal, engine heat signatures. And letters home, sensor 'em light. Families need hope, not horror. A young lieutenant, voice cracking from cold, clutches a damp envelope. Wrote mine last night. Skies clearing, home by Christmas. If we buy it today, colonel's hand on shoulder, rare gentleness. You won't. This ends their daylight game. Mount up, weather windows shrinking, engines cough wetly to life, sputter, roar bellows, prop wash hurling mud clods, scattering gulls. Takeoff's perilous, one jug aquaplanes veers off runway into ditch, propeller chewing earth before abort. Waves claw airborne, vanishing into slate gray overcast. Pilot's letter pre-dawn, from ace captain's billet. Ink smears on notebook paper, lantern flicker etching shadows. Dearest Mary, rain here's biblical, turns everything to soup, but we fly anyway. Strikes last week broke something in them. Their jets are cave dwellers now, fields empty as graveyards. Saw a napalm run on Memmingen, fire sea for miles like judgment. Cost us good men, but math's ours, 10 of theirs per 1 of ours. Fatigue's the enemy now. Hands shake on sticks, dreams full of flak blooms. But we're close. D-Day looms, after, it's mop-up. Kiss Tommy for me. Love eternal, Don. He seals it, tucks into flight jacket. No time for doubt. Over central Germany, 0800, first wave, 24 P-47s, bursts through 500-foot clouds over Hessian hills, rain lashing canopies like grape shot. Ingress low, Autobahn shadows, river valleys steaming in sun breaks. IP for Wunstorf, pop-up reveals shattered base, half-rebuilt runway, fighters hidden in copses, mechanics tarping wrecks. Flak savage, rain-slick guns tracking erratic. Lead dives, visibility nil, bombs away blind on thermal pips. Whoomph whoomph. Explosions chain through woods, trees toppling in fireballs, FW-190s erupting from leaf cover. Napalm follows, sticky hell drenching clearings, flames hissing steam as they consume aluminum and flesh. Hits confirmed, woods burning. Strafe secondaries. Guns rake, brr, shredding haystacks hiding 109s, mechanics fleeing into inferno. Scramble minimal, 190 airborne, Mustang top cover nailing at mid-climb, wreckage furrowing plow. But toll exacts, flak barrage hidden in village, 88mm shells detonate mid-formation. Trail jug erupts, debris clipping wingmen, both spiral smoking. Pilot bails low, shoot fouling treetops. Second limps west, engine trailing black. Claims, 16 ground kills, 1 air. Losses, 2 jugs. Letter fragment from young lieutenant's footlocker, dated May 9th. Mom, training's past, real war now. Low strikes, trees kiss belly, flat close enough to smell cordite. Lost wingman last Tuesday, good kid from Texas. His chute didn't open clean. Nights we drink bad coffee, tally kills like farmers count bushels. But it works, Krauts won't lift off. Exhaustion? Sleep in cockpit sometimes. Dream of your apple pie. Pray for clear skies. Your son, Eddie. Unsent, pilot KIA yesterday, letter forwarded home. Decent airfield second wave, P-47s ingress over rail yards, freight cars scattering like toys. Target, emergency strip on pasture, dozen assorted, trainers, recon birds under camouflage nets. Approach, clouds scrape wings, rain blurring bomb site. Dive through soup, napalm first, igniting nets in greasy blaze. Bombs crater runway, cows stampeding amid blasts. Rockets puncture fuel cans hidden in barns, whoosh, structures leaping skyward. Ground fire fanatical, farmers with rifles, flat carts improvised. One jug takes 20mm burst through radial, cylinders explode, pilot nursing smoke across Rhine. Strafe silences nests, Mustangs claim 2 scrambling Ju-52s, troop transports turned confetti. Claims 14 aircraft, barns gutted. Losses, 1 jug forced landing, pilot evading. Debrief radio crackles exhaustion, Gießen smoked. But visibility barely saw own wings. Eschwege, third prong, Mustangs lead sweep, jugs hammer. Ingress over Thuringia, mist-shrouded castles flashing by. Field, Luftwaffe ferry base, fresh planes from factories. Pop-up, clear break, target pristine, the 20-plus new BF-109s wingtip to wingtip. Flak late, surprise total. Napalm wave engulfs aprons, screams from cockpits as gel seeps inside. Bombs follow, hangars collapse, control tower topples. Guns rake survivors, tires popping, props bending. Scramble chaos, 6 109s airborne haphazard. Mustangs pounce. Boom and zoom, 4 down in minutes. Last 2 flee low, jugs intercept, 50s turning them to sieves over village. Claims 22 ground, 6 air. Losses none, flawless. High Wycombe, 1100. Ops room steams with wet uniforms, coffee urns boiling. Mad General pins final tallies. Wunstorf 17, Gießen 15, Eschwege 28, plus sweeps claiming 12 more stragglers. Weekly total, 500 plus, Luftwaffe gone, fields uninhabitable. Doolittle reviews, voice-laced awe. Total devastation. Recon shows woods burning across Hesse, every shadow hit. But your boys? Cracking? Mad General nods, scanning hospital lists. Fatigue epidemic, mid-air's up 20%. Letters painted, heroism laced with horror. Ground crews divine, patching miracles. Bomber General, now convert, adds, our heavies flew 500 sorties unmolested. Your madness bought the invasion. But cost, 12 American fighters, 8 pilots lost today. Telegrams stack like accusations. Debden, dusk. Hangars echo hollow, ragged cheers for returnees, silence for missing. Ace captain, soaked and shivering, huddles with wingmen around oil drum fire, rain hissing on flames. Flask passes, voices raw. Wunstorf was blind, bombed by faith. Woods lit like Christmas but saw wingman cartwheel. Flak found him anyway. Young survivor nods, eyes distant. Eschwege beautiful, perfect hits, no losses, felt like gods. Then reality, whose turn tomorrow? Ground chief approaches, clutching charred nav bag. Birds held, napalm feeds clogged once but cleared. Your letters. Censor caught one, Hell's Own Circus. Ace laughs bitter. Truth. Wrote Mary, ending it soon. Half believe it. Luftwaffe pilot's diary captured later from Eschwege wreck. Scribbled in haste, blood spattered. 10 Mai. Americans came from clouds, fire everywhere. Sat in cockpit, engines cold, watched friends burn in nets. Nets scorched my hands trying to push out. Took off last. Mustang dove, guns like rain. Bailed over fields, legs broken. Sky belongs to them now, no more daylight. God help the fatherland. Owner survived, limped home, last flight. Berlin bunker, evening. Galland briefs Göring via secure line, voice leaden amid map scars. Outside rain drums concrete. Central fields annihilated, Wunstorf woods inferno, Eschwege pasture craters. 70 machines today, dispersals failed. Pilots refuse taxi, morale shattered. Göring's roar crackles static, cowards, execute deserters. Jets, hidden, fuel non-existent. Night ops only, bleed their bombers. Galland hangs up, slumps. Aid whispers, farmers report Americans strafing haystacks, single-engine scouts everywhere. Disbelief hardens to despair, they own the earth now. Night patrol, American mosquitoes light Luftwaffe nights, incendiaries on suspected hides. Fires dot horizon, German fire crews overwhelmed. May 11th, mopping sweep Bavarian fringes. Jugs napalm forest glades, Mustangs claim 5 grounded 109s. Losses minimal, pilots billet midnight. Circle around cards, hands shake dealing. Ace reads aloud intercepted German letter, translated, Brothers, the sky we ruled is enemy now. Americans hunt from dirt, our fields graves. Pray for you. Silence. Young lieutenant, their exhaustion mirrors ours. But we choose this. Ace folds paper. They didn't choose defeat. Mad General's office 0200. Alone with reports, rain-streaking windows. Piles letters. Pilots pleas for rest. Families thanks for clear skies. One haunts. Sir, we've erased their air force. But at what price? Brothers' ghosts fly with us. He pens reply, price of freedom. Your courage ends the war. Dawn breaks on final sweeps. Disbelief total. Luftwaffe daylight sorties 0. Fields smolder, pilots hide. They were no longer fighting for victory, only survival. May 15, 1944. The English dawn breaks clear and merciless. Sunlight glinting off dew-slick P-47s and P-51s lined nose to tail on East Anglian hardstands. From Debden to King's Cliff, the fighter bases pulse with a weary ferocity. Ground crews hollow-cheeked from weeks of ceaseless toil, haul final ordnance loads. Napalm pots sloshing viscous death, rocket pods gleaming with fresh warheads, 50 cal belts coiled like serpents. The air carries the symphony of preparation, winches creaking under bomb weight, welders, torches hissing on flak-riddled fuselages, jeeps churning mud with ammo trailers. Exhaustion hangs palpable. Mechanics slump against wings mid-task, pilots' flight suits hang loose on frames whittled by adrenaline and scant sleep. But resolve burns brighter than ever. Hammerstorm's crescendo, 150 fighters for the killing blow, targeting the Luftwaffe's last readouts in the Rhineland heartland. In the 4th Group's damp briefing marquee at Debden, the hard-eyed ace captain, face etched with new scars from Eschwege flak, unrolls the final overlay before his Mustang wolves. Maps bleed red, every major field from Cologne to Kassel crossed out, thermal ghosts in forests marked for annihilation. Targets, Dielen near Arnhem, Volkel in Brabant, and hidden jet lairs at Gilsarien, Luftwaffe's final conventional gasp before total dispersal. This is it, gentlemen, the Reich's front porch. Jugs burn the nests, we sweep the stragglers and any jet mirages. Intel says Galland's down to 300 flyables, fuel by the thimble. Hit dispersed hides, barns, glades, rail sidings. No mercy. Anything with a proper pod gets napalm baptism. Weather gods smile, high pressure, visibility unlimited. But flak's evolved, mobile trains fanatical Volkssturm, stay unpredictable. A wingman, eyes rimmed black from night patrols, voices the unspoken. 2 weeks straight, sir. Birds hold, but we, hallucinations in cockpits now. One more, aces gaze steel. One more ends it. D-Day's 10 days out, Eisenhower needs clean skies, letters home say we're heroes, let's make it true. Mount up, wheels at 0530. Engines thunder awake across the flats, roar bellows thunder, a mechanical Armageddon shaking the earth. Waves lift off in precision, jugs vanishing low into haze, Mustangs spiraling for altitude perch. Over the channel, radio crackles with grim poetry. Hammerstorm Omega airborne, for the boys on the beaches. Rhineland ingress, 700. Lead P-47 flight, 16 jugs, hugs the wall, rivers bends, Dutch windmills blurring at treetop height, barges scattering like startled ducks. IP for Deelen. Pop-up over polders reveals the shattered fortress. Cratered runways patched hasty, fighters crammed into surviving revetments under frantic netting, ground crews fueling by hand pumps. Flak erupts orchestral, crump, hump, crack, 88mm trains on rails, 37mm nests in dikes, even rifle fire from farmhouse windows. Predicted barrages walk the formation. Lead jug absorbs shrapnel storm, armor plate pinging like anvil strikes. Flak heavy, dive through it, napalm priority. Formation rolls in. Canisters tumble, splat whoosh, exploding into firewalls that sweep revetments, consuming 24 BF-109s and FW-190s in gelatinous fury. Aluminum liquefies, tires vaporize, pilots clawing from cockpits only to ignite mid-bail. Bombs follow. 500-pounders pulverize hangars, secondary blasts ripping ammo lockers and chain thunder. Rockets streak, whoosh whoosh, puncturing fuel trucks, turning aprons to inferno lakes. Strafing, guns hammer, burr-pee, mowing mechanics, shattering control vans. Scramble desperate, 8 109s airborne amid smoke, Mustangs from 20,000 feet pounce, deflection shots from the sun, 4 exploding mid-climb, 3 more raked on egress. But carnage reciprocal, flak train barrage shreds 2 jugs, 1 wing amputated, cartwheeling into reeds, another cockpit pulped, debris raining. Third limps smoking, pilot radioing, green 3 hit bad, egressing solo, claims 28 ground kills, 7 air. Losses 3 fighters, 2 pilots K.A. Karenhall, Göring's opulent estate north of Berlin. The 900. The Reichsmarschall, once aerial knight, now bloated sybarite in silk robe, paces marble floors amid shattered crystal from a rage fit. Servants cower, aides clutch singed teletypes. Wall maps weep red pins, airfields ashen symbols, fuel icons blacked out. A field report crackles from speaker. Deelen devastated, napalm sea, 30 machines lost, runway gone, survivors dispersed to pastures. Göring's face purples, jowls quivering as he hurls a Meissen vase, shattering against oak paneling. Incompetence, treason, the Luftwaffe I built, ruling skies from Poland to Britain, reduced to barn mice? Americans fly where they will, burning my eagles on the ground. An obsequious adjutant stammers. Herr Reichsmarschall. Galland reports fuel exhaustion, pilots walking cans from dumps, jets, wonder weapons mocked by Yank dive bombers. Execute the engineers, launch everything, night, day, suicide rams if need be. He slumps into brocade chair, morphine haze clouding eyes but fury unslaked. Outside, gardeners flee as he bellows into phone. To Hitler, the skies betray us, demand V-weapons now, or my resignation. Aides exchange glances, the once mighty aviator unraveling. Volkel Airfield, Brabant. Second wave hammers. P-47's ingress over flooded polders, drowned dikes flashing silver. Target, night fighter base, He-219s and Ju-88s, tucked in woodlines. Pop-up flawless, napalm first, firestorms devouring trees, jets melting in 2,000-degree pyres. Bombs crater taxiways, rockets ignite dispersals hidden in orchards. Flak fanatical, mobile batteries fleeing shots but guns rake them silent. Scramble, dozen 88s airborne. Mustangs whirl, energy fights at 400 miles per hour, claiming 9 in vertical scissors, wreckage splashing canals. Losses light, 1 jug grazed RTB. Claims 25 ground, 9 air. Radio exultant. Volkel's a pyre, nothing flies from here. Galland's forward command post near Munster. Concrete bunker trembles from distant blasts, dust sifting from beams. The scarred general, monocle fogged with sweat, hunches over radio maps as reports cascade. Deelen gone, Volkel ash, Gilzerie next. Top ace, blonde survivor of jet duels, arm and sling bursts in, face ashen. Her general, thermal scouts confirm, Americans hit everywhere, farms burning, single planes and fields strafed. 80 lost today already. Pilots, refusing orders. Better death in air than fire on ground. Galland's hand trembles on cigar, first crack in iron facade, refusing. Discipline shattered. Fuel, rationed to 20 minutes per bird. Mechanics desert, join flak crews out of fear. Aide interjects, voice breaking. Göring rages, demands counteroffensive. But with what? Galland stares at map, red tide lapping Berlin. Despair wells, voice whisper, it's over, the airfields are graveyards. We have planes but no sky left to fly them. He pens final directive, cease all daylight operations, preserve remnants for Reich defense. Tears streak grime, the ace salutes, eyes mirroring defeat. Gilza region, third prom, jet readout. P-47s snake through Brabant dunes, Mustangs perch high. Pop-up underground hangar mouths belching smoke, Me-262s taxiing frantic under camouflage. Napalm seals entrances, flames backdrafting tunnels, roasting prototypes in concrete tombs. Bombs collapse revetments, rockets strafe launch pads. 3 Teuton-62s airborne desperate climb, but Mustangs boom down. 50 cal swarms shredding tails, jets tumbling in flames. Claims 12 jets ground, 3 air. Losses 1 Mustang to 30mm grazing. High Wycombe 1200. Ops room a victory vortex, pins exhausted, maps a slaughterhouse of crosses. Mad General, uniform frayed, eyes fever bright, tallies with Doolittle. 120 German aircraft, 40 air kills, logistics nodes vaporized. American toll? 12 fighters, 7 pilots. Total Hammerstorm, 1,200 Luftwaffe denied. Fields uninhabitable, jets caged. Galland's done. Doolittle nods, gripping shoulder, you finished what sweep started. D-Day skies ours, Eisenhower cables thanks. But Mad General scans MIA lists, voice gravel. Cost, 140 brothers, worth every shoot that didn't bloom. Bomber generals toast with coffee mugs, to the Mad Major, sanity and insanity. Debden afternoon, hangars steam with patched birds, pilots collapse on cots, medics stitching wounds by priority. Ace captain debriefs wolfish colonel amid wreckage stacks. Dealin was apocalypse, napalm turned polders to Venice of fire. Saw their faces, terror pure, but lost Tommy Low flak train got him. Colonel nods, voice hoarse, he'd say skies clear now. No intercepts reported, forts roam free. Wingmen gather, flask ritual, tales of burning barns, jet ghosts falling. Young lieutenant, survivor of Volkel. Heard German radio surrender, pilots grounding on own. Disbelief, we did that. Cheers ragged, exhaustion claims the mid-sentence. Berlin, dusk, Hitler's Wolf's Lair proxy, bunker frenzy. Göring arrives disheveled, confronting Führer via screen. Maps behind Hitler show invasion fronts, air charts blank. The Luftwaffe fails, Americans own the heavens, my jets, my aces, ash. Hitler's eyes blaze, voice venom, you promised air supremacy, now allies invade unopposed. Relieve Galland, court-martial failures. Göring crumples, morphine vial slipping. Aides drag him out, whispers of disgrace spread. Galland en route Berlin, radios aces, stand down. Fight as infantry if ordered, despair absolute. Final assault waves, evening sweeps on Rhine bridges, railheads. Jugs strafe fuel convoys, tankers erupting in fire chains visible from England. Mustangs claim 5 stragglers, last daylight Luftwaffe. Night falls, American fields quiet, engines cooling, pilots sleeping in cockpits. Recon overflies empty Reich skies, no contrails, no patrols. Mad General on balcony, cigar final glow. It's broken, they fear dawn now. Across channel, German pilots burn orders, hide planes in caves. Farm wives report sky silent, ghosts won. The sky was American now. June 6, 1944, D-Day. Omaha Beach, Normandy. Waves crash crimson with blood, Higgins' boats splintering under MG-42 fire from bluffs. The air screams with the wail of diving P-47s and P-51s, jugs and Mustangs roaring low over the surf, 50 cals hammering pillboxes, rockets streaking into bunkers. No Luftwaffe intercepts. No swarms of 109s or 190s contesting the beaches. The invasion armada, 5,000 ships, 11,000 aircraft, stretches horizon to horizon, unmolested. Gliders darken the sky over Utah. Paratroopers seize bridges unchallenged. From SHAEF headquarters in London, Eisenhower watches the feeds, voice steady over the roar. The Luftwaffe's broken. Our fighters own the air. Hammerstorm delivered. High Wycombe, 8th Air Force HQ. June 7th. The ops room, once a pressure cooker of frantic pins and teletypes, now hums with quiet triumph. Maps archived, Red Crosses blanket Germany like measles, Luftwaffe bases reduced to footnotes. The Mad General, thinner, eyes shadowed by weeks of 18-hour days, stands at the central table, sifting final recon photos. Empty fields, charred wrecks overgrown with weeds, mechanics abandoning tools for the front. Doolittle approaches, silver wings catching lamplight, hand extended. Bill, you finished it. 1,247 German aircraft confirmed destroyed on ground, 312 in air, jets included. Losses 162 of our fighters, 118 pilots. But the math, skies clear for Overlord. Ike wants you at Southwick House tomorrow. The Mad General clasps the hand, but gaze drifts to a stack of telegrams. Gold Star mothers, widows' pleas answered by clear bombardments. Cost was the calculus. Those boys flew into hell so others walked beaches alive. A bomber general, once skeptic now ally, raises a tin mug of coffee. We called it suicide. History calls it salvation. To the Mad Major, murmurs echo to Kepner. But he waves it off, lighting his last wartime cigar. Not me, the wolves. Zemke's tactics, Blakeslee's ice, ground crews who patched miracles from scrap. Outside, rain clears to sun, P-51s practice ground support unopposed. Debden Airfield, June 10th. P-47s and Mustangs squat idle, props stilled for maintenance. First real stand-down in months. Ground crews sprawl on grass, shirt sleeves rolled, sharing smokes and spam sandwiches. The wolfish colonel, mustache graying overnight, oversees the inventory. Rocket rails stacked, napalm pots drained, 50 cal barrels cooling. The hard-eyed ace captain approaches, flight jacket slung over shoulder, kill tally at 28, and counting. Stand-down official hub. Schaaf says Luftwaffe is at 15% strength, night harassment only. Galland's jets, cave dwellers till fuel runs dry. Colonel nods, wiping grease from hands. Your Mustangs own the anvil. Jugs hammered true. But the letters, he pulls a sheaf from pocket. Pilot's final missives, cleared by censors. Eddie, young kid from Gießen, wrote home. Sky's ours now, no more ghosts. Didn't make it back. Ace's jaw tightens, he unfolds his own, creased from pocket. Mary got mine. Ending it? Home soon. She'll meet me at Idlewild. Cheers ripple from mechanics, first real laughter in weeks. A crew chief, hands scarred from weld burns, toasts with a wrench. You flew low, we kept you airborne. Madness to method, but eyes betray the toll. Empty bunks, faded photos pinned to lockers. Berlin bunker, June 12th. Concrete walls weep moisture, air stale with defeat. Galland, uniform rumpled, monocle dangling, briefs demoralized aces under flickering bulbs. Maps show Allied air supremacy, red arrows converging on Paris, Cannes, Cherbourg, no blue intercepts. Daylight ops ceased May 16th. Jets grounded, fuel for 20 sorties total. Conventional birds, hidden in barns, pilots deserting to flak units. A surviving ace, Eric Hartmann's shadow, 250 kills faded to memory, slumps. Hammerstorm broke us. Low attacks bypassed radar, napalm turned fields to pyres. We feared takeoff more than dogfights. Galland nods, voice hollow. I advised Göring, disperse, defend high. He raged for counterstrikes we couldn't fuel. Now, Allies bomb at will. Phone shrills, Göring's dismissal confirmed. Hitler strips his rank, orders suicide missions. Galland crumples order. The sky betrayed us first, then they took the ground. Ace whispers, what now? Fight as soldiers, air wars lost. Outside, Allied bombers drone unescorted, flak futile. Carenhall, June 15th. Göring, morphine-addled in velvet robe. Wanders ruined galleries, tapestries shredded by blast, Me-109 models crushed underfoot. Aides pack files, SS guards eye him warily. He clutches a final report. Luftwaffe effective strength 180 operational aircraft. My Eagles, clipped by a madman's gamble. Flashback assaults, 1940 Battle of Britain triumphs, now ash. He scrawls memoir fragment. They called their plan reckless. We called it apocalypse. History indicts me. Poison vial glints. Disgrace eternal. Washington, D.C. Army Air Forces HQ, July 1944. The Mad General, promoted, stars polished, briefs Hap Arnold in oak-paneled office overlooking the Potomac. Charts project, Hammerstorm kill ratios, D-Day air cover stats. Low-level doctrine validated, sir. P-47 proved tank and dive bombers clothing. Mustangs perfected boom and zoom. Costly, but asymmetric, Luftwaffe ceased contesting invasion. Arnold nods, cigar mirroring Kepner's. Eisenhower credits you. Kepner gave us the air umbrella. But brass grumbled, reckless diversion. Mad General's eyes steel. Rules were killing us. Offense 1, adapt or bleed. Medal pinned, distinguished service medal, cluster added. But he thinks of lost wolves. Post-war, 1945. Nuremberg trials. Galland and Doc, uniform threadbare, recounts collapse. American prosecutor presses, your jets, Me-262s could have swept Allies. Why grounded? Galland, voice steady, fuel denied by ground strikes. Airfields, graveyards, napalm, rockets. American General Kepner, his Hammerstorm predicted us. We dispersed, they hunted shadows. Court murmurs, historian notes, madness became mastery. 1946, Air Force Day, Wright Field, Ohio. The Mad General, retired Brigadier General William Kepner, stands on podium, P-47 preserved behind him, shark mouth faded. Crowd, veterans, widows, cadets. He speaks, voice gravel from cigars. They called me Mad Major for balloon stunts in 18. In 44 for Hammerstorm. Rules said fighters escort, I said hunt the hunters. We dove through flak walls, burned Luftwaffe on earth. 1,247 kills, price 118 brothers. Not glory, necessity. Applause thunders. Ace captain, now airline pilot, salutes from front row, Mary and son beaming. We flew reckless. History flew true. 1960s. Kepner study, Colorado Springs. Bookshelves sag with histories, photos line walls. Zemke grinning, Blakeslee mid-roll, ground crews muddy. He pens memoirs from balloons to Thunderbolts, ink steady. They mocked the plan. Suicide, insanity. Doolittle called it reckless. I saw ghosts of Schweinfurt, bombers burning for lack of offense. Hammerstorm tore caution. With it, an empire fell. Recklessness is courage's twin. History names the survivor. Wife enters. Lecture tomorrow? One more. Boys need to know. Madmen win wars. 1972. Kepner's funeral, Arlington. Coffin-draped stars and stripes fly over. F-4 phantoms in Missing Man. Eulogy by Doolittle's successor. William Kepner, balloonist, fighter, innovator. Hammerstorm crushed Luftwaffe, cleared D-Day. From Mad Major to legend. Ace Captain Gray with grandchildren lays wreath. You called it necessary. We called you boss. Taps echoes, salute renders. Montage, archival grain. P-47s diving through flak, napalm blooming, empty German fields, D-Day beaches secured, Berlin falls. Voiceover, Kepner's recorded lecture. Sometimes madness is just courage ahead of its time. We tore down caution and with it an empire that once ruled the skies. They called him crazy. The sky called him victorious. Final frame, Kepner portrait, eyes burning. They called him crazy. He called it necessary. History called it victory. Recklessness is the twin of courage. Only history decides which name survives.